or my sex, my gender. I'm intolerant of shit like that. And I refuse to, I don't know at this point in my life that, making less somewhere else in the meantime is, that's the cross that I'm willing to bear, But more to come on that at the pull-up this week. All right, so let's get into the mess, all right? Because, we could talk about each other all day long. Rest in peace to John Pops Witherspoon, who died earlier this week. I believe he was in his 70s. I do not know as of right now what was the cause of death, but rest in peace to him. Comedy legend. And, yeah, I am just really, I don't know. Did that one hit a little bit? That hit a little bit. Have y'all been checking on Betty White? Is she okay? Marla Gibbs, is she good? Because I don't know, it never dawned on me that you could tell that you're getting to a certain age where things that you've grown up with, things that you know to be just kind of part of your life now are dying away. Forever 21 announced this week that they'll be closing more than 200 stores in lieu of filing bankruptcy. So shout out to the yellow bags. Barney's this week announced that in a circuit court hearing, I believe in Poughkeepsie, New York, it was announced that they would be, I believe, bought out by a company who would then be closing the Barney's doors. No word yet as to what is going to become of all of the inventory. Will they job them out to wholesalers or whatever the case is? But, to know that I'm living a life where Barney's is going, we're Forever 21. I might be 43 and there may be no Forever 21. Your kids may never know Forever 21. That's wild to me. Okay? A world without Charlotte Russe. That shit is wild to me. Okay? Sometimes your kids will never know that sometimes it do feel good to pay less, bitch. It do. Anyways, so shout out to all the New York City teens this week who staged their own peaceful protest near Barclays Center Brooklyn train station. The protest was in response to some police brutality that's been taking place in New York throughout the last couple of weeks. And I mean, honestly, we could say just throughout forever. But specifically, this week, there was a video that surfaced of a young man, 19-year-old Adrian Napier, who boarded a train this week downtown somewhere. It was alleged that he had a gun on him, which he did not. As he boarded the train, he sat down. The police yelled for him to put his hands up, which he did, and they told him to, they grabbed him off the train and dragged him out. They searched him. They abused him. They later found out that he did not have a gun on him. And you know what? The kids are mad and they said enough is enough. And so shout out to them. Cause listen, let me tell you something. They're going to close Rikers Island. They're going to open up these prisons on every borough throughout our great city. And when they do, they are going to be looking to fill said prisons. And you know who they're going to fill those prisons with? They are wanting to fill those prisons with people who look like you and I. And the only way that we are going to do anything about this is that if we start to take a more active role in our community as it pertains to politics, as it pertains to our community personnel. Because listen, the police work for us. That's what we're told. So if we're going to adhere to the policies that we create, we have to be a part of creating them, right? Speaking of which, this week, Beto O'Rourke, the Texas politician, said that he is dropping out of the race. Now, listen, we started out with 4,489 million trillion of them niggas running for the Democratic presidential nomination. Now, I think we're down to about 12, which include Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Cory Booker, amongst a myriad of others. But Beto O'Rourke said he's out for the count. I believe that his biggest thing is that we all just kind of get behind the Democratic nominee in terms of support, whoever that may be. So I'm with you, Beto O'Rourke, and I am also bowing out. So did you guys catch Queen Radio this week? Yes, Nicki Minaj blessed the kids with an all-new episode of Queen Radio brought to you by Beats One. So Nicki's guest included gospel singer Tasha Cobbs. Do y'all know Tasha Cobbs? She had the 2013 hit Break Every Chain, popular gospel song, one of my personal favorites. At any rate, she had Tasha Cobbs pray over her fans, which I personally loved. And she just kind of talked about what she's got going on and what have you. So, further in the episode, Nicki kind of went left of the gospel as she talked about Wendy Williams and called her demonic. Now, if you are keeping up with the rest of the Barbs, you know that Dear Nicki got married to Kenneth Petty. So her name is Onika Mirage Petty. Onika Tanya Mirage Petty. Which honestly, I couldn't have thought of a better name for Nicki Minaj myself. So good on her. So she married him on October 21st. He is 41. I believe the rapper is 34, 35, 36. I'm not sure. Whatever. But the reason why she called our dearest Wendy Williams demonic is because Wendy has been talking about Kenneth Petty's kind of checkered past, if you will, being a level 2 sex offender in New York after a 1995 rape conviction, which he spent 4 years in prison for, according to Us Weekly. Now, this incident took place in 1994 when Kenneth Petty and the victim were both 16 years old. It doesn't go into detail. Us Weekly did not go into detail in terms of, was this just something that her parents found out or whatever the case is. And because of the fact that, they were upset, maybe they pressed charges. Listen, I think we've all been there where we've messed with someone older, and if our parents found out, this could have very well been them. So I don't really have much judgment about that, because it wasn't like he was like a 20-year-old man. I don't know. But at any rate, now this incident took place in 1994, like I said, when both he and the victim were both 16. Now in 2006, he did plead guilty to a first-degree manslaughter charge to a shooting from 2002. At that point, he was sentenced to 10 years, but he got out early in 2013. So he did not serve the full time, but he definitely did serve some time. And then it goes on to talk about how Mr. Petty has 5 kids and he has an active role in all of their lives. And I actually got the shooting story from TMZ. So I say all of that to say that I did not get the story from Wendy Williams about Mr. Petty. I actually got it from TMZ and Us Weekly, which I did not hear Miss Onika mention in her, read on the on her show this week. Now, Nicki made Wendy her focus for stating that when you, actually, no, this is what Nicki had to say during the show. Excuse me. Nicki said, when you announce my husband, P, there's no need for you to mention his past. Every time you mention him, you feel the need to bring these things up as well as something he was wrongfully accused of doing. Now, you can report the news without that level of viciousness. Miss Petty also added that Wendy's estranged husband, Kevin Hunter, having a baby on her, that was karma for all the vicious shit she did. She further went on to say that Wendy having Wendy's husband Kevin having a baby outside their marriage was karma, and that Wendy should have been more knowledgeable, perhaps, about Kevin when he was knee deep in another hoe's vagina. Now, listen. You know, y'all are always coming for Wendy. Y'all are always coming for Wendy. Y'all really are. Now, I know that y'all like to come for TMZ too, but you know, y'all love when y'all are on TMZ. It makes y'all feel solid. You know, and I'm not saying this in particular to just Nicki, because a lot of you girls like to come. A lot of the girls like to come for Wendy. Now, Wendy doesn't do anything different than what Extra, than what E! Entertainment does, than what Access Hollywood does, than what Entertainment Tonight does, than what Chasing News does. At this point, CNN. At this point, your local TV network news. They are all talking about every celebrity in the same damn way. Now, you may feel a particular way because Wendy has cachet with the community, but honestly, if you know and you live in your truth, I don't understand why what someone else just kind of stating what it is. So she basically is saying that Wendy doesn't have to talk about her husband, you know, about his past, you know, but she's not lying. You just don't think that she should bring it up, which I understand, I guess. In some sad news this week, we learned that Solange, who posted her own little iOS statement through Instagram, we learned that she actually separated from her husband of 5 years, Alan Ferguson. Now, many of you may know Alan Ferguson, video director, he directed Beyonce's video for Party. He also directed Cranes in the Sky, as well as a couple of videos from Solange's A Seat at the Table album, which this podcast was heavily inspired by. And he also used to do videos for, the name of the group escapes me right now, but Pete Wentz, Fall Out Boy. I think he used to do some Fall Out Boy videos. I'm not sure, but he's a video director. Him and Solange have been together for about 11 years, or were together for about 11 years. Prior to that, she was married for about 3 years to her son's father, Jules. And then she met and dated Alan. They were together, like I said, for 11 years. Many of you will recall the iconic New Orleans wedding photo of Solange, and not necessarily her bridal party, but just a group of people, women that she had been inspired by. And that image set off the image recreation by many of folks, including some people that I know. So yeah, I'm just sad to hear about it, you know. And I it's said that she is dating currently dating again, and I'm not sure whom, but I just hope that she is happy. Last but certainly not least, do you guys know the name Shannon Phillips? Shannon Phillips, ring a bell to you? Well, it should. Shannon Phillips is the Starbucks manager of Philadelphia, former Starbucks manager of Philadelphia, who called the police